Hey everybody, Carpo here again. This is part 2 of MANNA from Orion, the book I've been reading. I'm writing it as I go, and I'd urge you to check out part 1 and the intro to part 1. I'm going to pick up where I left off, and I was just basically talking about the contentment of mankind to be asleep. And here's kind of, where I left off. Life is good, go to work, come home, watch your big screen TV, but those of us on the front lines are making it known that there's a wave of galactic energy pushing through all of us, that we can choose to be better people, and more spiritually, simply by opening up. This does not have to have a name, there's no right way to meditate. Do what you will. Just keeping love in your heart every day is enough to warrant some big changes in the way that you behave and feel. So it sounds like New Age jargon. Well, maybe, but that's not what this is about either. It all leads back to manna. Manna was the term for the food that came from the sky and fed the biblical characters in the desert when they were hungry. To sum it up, one interpretation of this story is that manna from heaven is a crystalline wave or energy pattern that pulses through the universe. I see it like the galactic superwave. Every 6,500 or so years, this pulse passes through the galaxy, or so the theory promotes, and can cause profound changes in our psyche. We already know the sun has a strong effect on our moods, as well as the lunar cycles do. So if the galactic wave is coming, it may be a big one. We should be ready for anything. I believe what's happening is a global awakening to the truth, and we will all soon be able to understand our purpose and reason for being. And that is why we're all here, isn't it? We're not individuals any more than one ant is an individual. We work as a team and have what I call a mist, or filaments, connecting each one of us to another. We're connected to everything in this way, like a web holding together the fabric of reality. So what is reality? Well, let's explore that idea for a minute. Most of us have the idea that reality is our daily life, and the surreal is the dream state, or a drug-induced state. But recent, as well as older studies into psychedelics have found that many users have very similar experiences, and some are as real, or more real, than what we call reality. DMT, or dimethyltryptamine, is naturally found in the pineal gland. I've had people dispute that, but it's found in the body. It's endogenous to the body. It's the only psychedelic that is. And it's the only one that is derived, or is found naturally in the body and derived from plant sources. Users have reported visiting strange places with beings that are more otherworldly than one can imagine from the here and now. In fact, some of the revelations on DMT and other psychedelics are so profound that one is left to wonder if they really happened. And if so, in what dimension and in what proportion? Striking similarities of stories and information received during these experiences are worldwide, through centuries, and multiple cultures. My belief is the plant kingdom has many things to teach us if we are willing to listen, and perhaps the reality lies on a different realm. Even LSD, though most people think of it as a chemical, is derived from the ergot fungus. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I can't remember. It grows on wheat. Entire villages in medieval times would accidentally ingest the fungus when they were harvested the wheat, and mass cases of delusion and panic were reported because of it. Can you imagine a whole village tripping on ergot fungus? DMT, on the other hand, is not a fungus. It is believed to be secreted by the pineal gland, located in the center of the brain. The gland also produces melatonin, which regulates our sleep, and serotonin, which, strangely enough, gives us our reality in a way. It keeps our moods at a consistent level appropriate for the situation. Sometimes it goes haywire, or we use SSRI, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, pills, which alter the way our brains receive reality. Since DMT is also secreted there, it is possible that it creates a reality as real as the one we inhabit right now, or there's more to the story. But in a nutshell, DMT is produced at birth and at death. Many people have had near-death experiences that mimic DMT experiences perfectly. Perhaps the DMT is stored to be released in the bloodstream at the end of our earthly life, to help us ascend to another dimension, or perhaps not. Either way, it has been revered for millennia. So, if manna is knowledge, and knowledge is God, then perhaps our ancestors had a habit of taking large amounts of psychedelics to reach these other realms. And perhaps, if they perfected it, they brought back knowledge from these journeys that helped them to create their vast civilizations. Many still think of Egyptians as primitive, rock-hauling slave classes. that built tombs for pharaohs. We now know that's simply not true, and there's no evidence for such. We simply impose our ideas of what we think happened based on our current understanding of society and physics, which is changing every year. The Great Pyramid, although many of us are not aware, has no adornments or mummies, or none as such as the other pyramids do, no tombs or pharaoh. It was something else, a power source. It did have a tomb, but it never supposedly had a mummy in it. It was a power source. That's what a lot of people believe. Or a communication device. We're not sure, but these pyramids are turning up everywhere now with the advent of satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar. They have been found in South America, Europe, Bosnia, Alaska, the U.S., and many other places. Some are smaller, some are larger, but they're pyramids, and they all seem to lie within the ley line grid. The very fact that they are on the ley lines shows a wisdom that is unmatched today, which brings me back to the beginning. As every cycle comes full circle, we're in one of those cycles right now, a 6,500-year-old cycle, which could be the 26,000-year-old cycle as well, predicted by many ancient cultures, and we as a society are blind to it. Although there are places like the History Channel and a few obscure shows here and there, the mainstream media has managed to completely ignore the biggest story in human history. The answer to life. Why are we here? What are we supposed to do? It amazes me the mentality of the older generation. No offense. The ones that still trust in the government, the dollar and the Bible. The things that have changed drastically in the last 10 years. Not to mention the last 20 or 30 years. We are awakening and we are strong. We know what the truth is and will spread it at any cost. We know people have been killed in the name of preserving secrecy for the powers that be. And too many innocent lives are lost in war for big profits on oil and other goods. Now they are buying up the water rights under our noses, and nobody even questions why water costs more than gasoline. It's preparation for when the taps turn off, people, and we're at the mercy of big water instead of big oil. Nothing has changed, but we have, and we are awake now with the internet, and we are strong. My message is this: if you are awake, it is your duty to awaken as many people as you can. There's a method to this, as you cannot flood a person with information. We all know that. So use the 10% rule. Just tell them the basic outline of what you want them to convey to them, and let them come to you. We can do this. It's just going to take time. With the internet as our ally, I think we can wake up a lot of people. If you are asleep, if you are asleep, well, you probably won't admit it. But in time you will begin to see what everyone has been talking about for so long. There's a movement to find the truth, to learn who we really are. And believe me when I say there are people in power who have this information, or at least some of it, and wish not to share it. This is our birthright. This is knowledge. It is to be shared with all. No man should hide what he knows from the world, no matter what twisted reason he may have for it. And I just pray enough of us wake up in time to overturn this horrendous bane on mankind. We are all people, just people. I think. I'm sure there's probably aliens among us or something, who knows. But why do we think these elite are any different? They're flesh and blood, just like us. They have no right to live like kings, while the world, like you and me, the amazing world, spins in squalor. There's indeed enough for everyone. This fiat money system must collapse and start anew. We need a new society based on love and respect, not greed and capitalism. We tried. It failed. When will we admit to ourselves? And why is mankind too stubborn to look at the world and say, damn, we really screwed up? I hope you'll join me for part 3. I'm going to start off and say, how can we fix it? Peace out. Carpo.